Okay, welcome everyone. My name is P.O. and it's a short one for Per Olof, and so I am a Swede. To start with, I really would like to tell you the story behind the organization that we started 10 years ago called Your Study Advisor, and also the new sister brand Unique that we established just half a year ago. The background is like this, that 12 years ago my daughter called me up from a beach in Australia saying, "Father, I'm going for film." And 10 years later, the famous Swedish Film Institute called her up just a month ago and said that they will finance her first feature film. The road to come to this position has been with a good platform, and what even then we tried to say, find schools in the world that fit into what the Nordic film industry is targeting. We're trying to find schools that really give you the skills in the different positions that you need to have if you go into the film industry or you go into the theater and film as actors. Caro, as we say with her, she had been working as a casting director at the Future Film down in Melbourne. That film was selected to the Venice Film Festival, so she knows from her work the latest 10 years all about what's needed to become an actor, especially for you guys that want to become actors for screen. She also have been what they call third, second and first AD, and AD assistant director. And this is a true story. When she came back 6 years ago to Sweden, after having a combination of film and broadcast journalism, she had the news that the crime scene of the bridge was supposed to be shot, the second episode. She called them up and said, "My name is Caroline, I've done this, and they said, "Well, we have one position left, and that's the first AD, assistant to the director, for the second episode at the bridge. Can you, and she said, they said to her, "Can you come?" And we jumped in my car and she went to the production office. And 10 minutes later, she came out and I said, "Well, 10 minutes, no work." And she laughed and said, 10 minutes work, because I had international experience. The key word for every student that we helped over the years has been international experience. With that international experience, we now, 2019, will redesign what we call alumni. And this alumni has been up and running the latest 8 years by a very nice gentleman called John Buckmaster. Every year he actually got all the film students together in Malmö, in Gothenburg, in Stockholm. All students, new students, and just realize the networking to get work inside Sweden if you want to come back. He passed away last year, but we have decided to take up that tradition again, and we will do that from 2019. And we will open the doors also for actors, for sound designers, for all the occupation inside the film crew. The amazing news for us is that also the Swedish Film Institute actually contacted me and said, "Well, we want you to help us to validate international studies into higher education in Sweden." And not just that, they actually said that if we can help them to present good students returning to Sweden, they will offer you a budget to sketch your first film. So you know when you return to Sweden with our help that you can actually have the possibility to get money, funding for your first film. The combination we have been trying to find is combination that both, say, schools with the combination of film and acting. We found that in New Zealand. We found that, say, diplomas normally for 1 or 2 years. We found that also in Australia for 1 or 2 years. But we definitely also found it in UK at the university that I'm so happy to have the international officer, Paul Johnson, beside me. That university is 5,000 students just working in arts, media, and design. Saying that, we in Sweden, we say, well, all the roads ends in Rome. Paul is happy when I say all the roads ends at Falmouth in UK. Because he has been so open-minded. So he actually will offer you also to continue a bachelor if you decide to go the first year or the first 2 years in New Zealand or in Australia, and then you can finalize your bachelor at Falmouth University. But you can also start from the beginning. At the moment we have one student directly from high school in Jönköping starting at Falmouth now in September. And we have another student from Ölands Folkhögskola that started the same course. So we will have all the feedback from those students back to you. So Paul, please take over. In the meantime, I'm happy to say that Caroline, she's married to a guy called Glenn Baghurst. He is in our booth. If you want to speak with him, please do. You can't miss him. He's redhead, big gentleman. Is that the correct description?
That's a good one. Hi everyone. Yeah, thank you, Pierre. Yeah, that was great.
He's an Aussie, and if you want, but saying that you can meet him in our booth, but you can also, I will send this around, because Glenn is going to Sydney December the 17th, but Caroline is going to Sydney January the 15th. And between mid-December and mid-January, she can actually call you up for a one-to-one meeting and discuss either if you want to go for acting or you want to go for film. And honestly, she will tell you the truth, how to do it. So I send it around. So please, Paul, sure. Why did I pick, or you picked, we picked, we knew each other for
That's
years
right,
back, but we decided that this one is the most amazing university in UK.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I mean, for anyone looking to study any artistic subject, I mean, there's lots of universities around Europe, but I think, what makes Falmouth University unique is that, we offer a range of different courses that work very closely together. So if you're a film student, you'll be working a lot with actors, with animators, with photographers, and there's this amazing collaboration among the different departments. So 5,000 students all working together in different areas with amazing access to equipment. So, I mean, if you want to be a filmmaker, you want to have great cameras to work with, and get to grips with the different audio areas, the different editing suites. And I think, especially with the modern technology now, you need to have access to that equipment. You have to have great teachers. So what Falmouth offers is that really good connection amongst the different areas, great equipment, really motivated staff. And what it allows a student to do is to develop themselves over 3 years and then graduate and then work in the industry. So I think if anyone here is looking to do film or acting, make sure you do your research, speak to lots of universities, have conversations, and get really good advice, because I think once you start to talk to different universities and see what each one offers, you'll then be able to see which one is right for you. For example, we're in a sort of rural location, which is not in a big city, So some people want to go to a big city. We're more in a rural location. So if you're someone who's comfortable with being in a more affordable town with less going on, to be honest, then it's a really good option. And if you want to go somewhere in Europe, it's obviously a great option. Some students want to go further afield. They want to go to Australia, US, but many students want to be close to Sweden. They want to be a couple of hours flight away. So I think the great thing with the UK and Falmouth is it's a weekend trip away. So you can go back on a Friday, come back on a Sunday to university. So yeah, I think generally, you know, get good advice when you're researching your options, and you know, make sure that you apply to lots of universities, and then continue those conversations, and you'll find the right place for you.
Thank you, Paul. And I just wanted to show you the way we designed the website so you can see how we thought. We are working both with diploma, bachelor and masters. And the most important thing for us is that all of them fit into CSN funding. So no private money whatsoever. And therefore we decided to, first of all, concentrate on schools in New Zealand, Australia and UK. The schools in North America are not covered by CSN totally. You need to put up private money to have the possibility to go to those schools. The way we have done it is actually describing the different occupations inside a film crew. The producer or producing is the manager, the businessman, and then you see the different areas. And it's important to say that production design is similar to, say, for you guys that are interested in interior design. The product designer is the person who really go in for action related to how the actual scene is designed. Then we have all the areas in costume, visual effect, sound, editing, lighting, and special makeup. And finally, in the end, standby props, and that's rekvisita in Swedish. One of the first students we helped, he actually is now working globally just with props, because he's famous in the way he is really helping the different film teams with it. Screenwriting. And if you are really interested in screenwriting, there's a lovely girl in the booth, our area, Anna Fürstenberg. She will, 2019, be the project leader for all the, what we call unique writing schools, including, say, screenwriting for film, and screenwriting to other areas. But saying that with the last picture, actually the photographer that Caroline is using is a guy called Benjamin Sadig. He was actually mentioned when the girl that won the Guldbaggen for best photography 2 years ago for the film Jarden. And he was her assistant, and he went at the same school as Caroline, but went down to become a screenwriter, and he ended up becoming one of the best photographers in film in Australia and in Sweden. What I mean with that, you need 1 year to find yourself as a filmmaker. The other area we have built is unique acting schools. Same thing here, that if different schools behind every single picture. So it can be one school for acting for screen, another one for acting for stage, another one for acting for musical. But once again, props, costume design, production design, screenwriting, directing, and managing. Or management. we know what the industry need. The amazing thing for me when I'm a proud founder and saying to, say, my friends in the same age as me, and I say, well, Caroline just been to Seoul, to the festival. Her latest film that SVT bought, called Viva 3. You can check that out. Actually, I think it's still online on SVT Play. That was selected to Tribeca Film Festival in New York. She just been there, and she just been in Seoul with the same film, etc., etc. And people look at me and say, yeah, sure, you're a proud father. But when I say, I was informed them that she also was the director for the extra, alltså de statisterna, for the latest future film, Solsidan. When the people walked on the, say, to take the bath in Turku or over running around to get sperms to his wife. Everyone in my age say, whoa. That's the way we in Sweden, we see just Sweden. The most important thing for you guys is to understand that to be international, you need to have some part of your education overseas, and then combine it with good Swedish platform. Go for it, and when you return, I definitely can inform you that we will help you into the industry by alumni with contact with Swedish Film Institute, and also for you that go for acting, we will also help you in to the different teams. The most important thing in the end, there's so many film schools in the world, but ask them how much they charge you. Because the CSN funding, the way we work is that we want you to have money left. So when you return, for example, with a bachelor degree, that you can go into university in Sweden and say, I want to do a master. So it's a combination of accreditation, academic accreditation, so what you get overseas is good enough and respected into the Swedish universities. But it's also related so you have money left when you return. Anything else, Paul?
I mean, I think it's worth mentioning about possibly the breakdown of the CSN, how the flights are included.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know if you see it here, but it's a good presentation, and how it's so important for you to understand that you need a support with the funding. Today you get 1,250 per month. At the same date when you study overseas, in UK or Australia or New Zealand, you get 12,000 Swedish crowns from CSN. Half of it you need for rent, half of it you need for food and extra. Then you get all the school fee paid if you select a school through us. And then you get 2 return tickets back to Sweden. So you can go back for Christmas and you can go back for summer. All is financed by CSN. I have 2 kids in my family. One studied 5 years at Lund University, and Caroline, that I mentioned, she studied 3 years overseas. They have the same amount of student loan because he had longer living costs and she have less living costs but school fee. They pay back 1,350 Swedish crowns per month to CSN. So don't be scared to study inside Sweden or international if you do it in a correct way. Thanks a lot for listening.